What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazik, aka Unique Mazik. I'm the hardest working man in sports and gaming. I got another Madden video for you today. And today I'm going to be talking about my expectations for every single mode in Madden 22. So at least every mode that we know about, which we pretty much know about all of the modes because they don't really hold back. EA doesn't. You know, that'll be 2K that'll be like sneaking in a mode like the night before the game comes out. And they be like, and guess what else? We don't know if it worked, but guess what you can do? Like, you know, EA don't do that. They be like, we ain't got it. It ain't gonna be in there. We pretty much think y'all gonna buy it anyway, so it is what it is. I'm just not lying. I'm being honest with y'all. I'm just telling y'all that's just how it works. But I'm gonna give you my expectations for every mode. I'm gonna leave franchise mode last because I probably have the most detailed expectations for that particular mode because it is, you know, it's my mode. So let's start off with just play now. Play now, exhibition play, whatever you want to call it, play now online, whatever you want to call it. I think that it ain't gonna be very much different. You know, I mean, I think it would be fantastic if we saw where they had weekend tournaments for play now online, where they had like something really set up and it was like an event, not just like some kind of, oh yeah, did you know that they doing, like, for real, something really set up where you kind of almost play into, you can't really call it esports because the playing field isn't necessarily level, but you could do a weighted system where better teams give you lower points for winning with those teams and that kind of thing, you know. So that's kind of how your leaderboard kind of works. I think people would take it, like, I think people take just regular, just playing regs just kind of serious in some instances anyway. Some people do, but I think they would take it a little more serious if the leaderboard was kind of stacked in that way based off like what team you play with and that kind of thing. And like what I say with events and all of that sort of thing, I think that would be great. But who am I kidding? They ain't doing that. More than, I mean, unless something that they didn't tell us is gonna happen, they're not doing that. It's gonna be similar regs as you're accustomed to, pretty much. Next thing we're gonna talk about is the yard. I do expect this mode to take the biggest leap, maybe besides franchise mode, which I do already know is taking a pretty significant leap. I think the yard is going to take a big leap. I believe that EA sees the yard as like this potentially spectacular casual game mode that is going to ultimately become one of the most popular ways to play Madden. I think this is what this is their vision. This is what I believe their vision is. Kind of a la 2K's Park. If I'm being honest, I hope that's not the case. I hope that it doesn't kind of morph into that the way 2K has, where honestly, to a lot of 2K's fan base, the NBA portion of the NBA 2K is kind of secondary to them. They, you know, when they think about playing 2K, they more think about their my player playing in Rec and Pro-Am, or their my player playing at Park, than they think about playing with NBA teams. And I hate that has happened. And I don't want to see that happen to Madden or MLB The Show or any other game. Like, I'm not against those modes like Park and Pro-Am. I think they're dope, right? But at the end of the day, it's NBA 2K. At the end of the day, it's Madden NFL football, EA Madden NFL football. At the end of the day, it's MLB The Show. It's NHL. It's FIFA. It's all. That's why when you don't have these licenses and stuff like that, the games suffer in the sales. So I don't want to see that happen. And the yard does incorporate some team stuff, and they're doing even more of that this year. So I think that will help it still maintain the NFL side. And I'm not like against arcadey stuff because I think it has its place, right? If you want to play something like the yard, you want to play something like NFL Blitz or NBA Street, that's, you know, dope. And they have a mode for that, and it's whatever. But I don't ever think that those modes should come at the expense of the more simulated modes or the franchise modes and stuff like that. I don't want that to ever happen. Sometimes I know it does. Not so much with Madden, as much as Madden's lack of franchise mode really has nothing to do with any other portion of their game besides Ultimate Team blossoming. You know, it's just a lack of focus on that mode. But I do think they're getting better this year. But we'll get to that in a second. But yes, my expectations for the yard are that it's going to take a huge leap. It might even be something that I give more time to than I did last year. It was real janky though last year. It didn't work a lot, and yeah, even if you just your heart was set on playing the yard, you probably didn't get as much from it as you might have wanted to, because it wasn't as dependable as it needed to be. So I think it's going to take a big jump overall, and I think it's going to take a big jump not just at the launch, but I think that they have, from what I've heard and they've told us, is that they have some big plans for post-launch updates for the yard. So I think you're going to see constant content and different things happening with that mode. Next is Mutt. So I think it's going to be really more the same, with Mutt, which they're at a place with Mutt where their rollout of content and the way that they support Mutt is already so strong that I don't know that it needs like a bunch of newfangled different things. I think there's some things that I think that they definitely should have that they don't. Like, I would love to be able to design my own uniforms. I would love to be able to design my own stadium in Mutt. I'm not a big Mutt player at all, but that would probably inspire me a little bit more to play. I still would get tired of, stupid crap like, Calvin Johnson playing free safety and then Damakong Su being a kicker or something like he was a couple years ago or whatever. I wouldn't like that. I'm not going to ever like that. But I do think salary cap mode helps kind of control some of that. I think one of the biggest things with Mutt for me is that it can definitely be overwhelming. It does. To me, I kind of think it pollutes football, because after a while, it doesn't even feel like you're playing football. It's just a bunch of people running around, with jacked up stuff. And the challenges, the single player challenges and stuff, are so grindy, and they don't have enough variety to them. So that's one thing I love about Diamond Dynasty. Diamond Dynasty, their challenges and single player stuff, it's fun, man. It's like all this different stuff to do and different cards to go for and play for, and their events, their weekly events have this different diversity to them. Like, this one week you had everybody in your lineup had to be a switch hitter, and you have this other stuff. It's just dope, and it encourages you to use more of your collection, which to me is the best and most purest form of a collection in a collector mode in gaming or sports gaming. So to me, I think that's there. But for Mutt, my expectations is more the same. You're gonna get more legends, not expecting new ways to play, just more of them kind of tightening the screws, which I don't think is really a bad idea. I mean, it's already kind of in a good position, for Mutt fans. The next thing we talk about is face of the franchise. My expectations is that there will not be a college football experience at all. I think you're going to start off as a rookie. I believe you can choose between being a quarterback, running back, or wide receiver. Now, they are going to unveil this on Wednesday. You'll probably see this video either on Wednesday or Thursday, or maybe sometime after that. So if some details or something I'm giving are slightly off, I saw a presentation for it, and Sean Grady addressed us in a preview event that I was present for. And so some of this is kind of a little sketchy, but they didn't give us at least at the time of me recording this video, they hadn't given us a bullet pointed feature list of the mode yet. But I kind of got the gist. It doesn't seem like you can play defense, which is okay because of what it is. But it's a career mode that I don't know how many years it goes. I don't get the feeling that it was as heavily produced as like Long Shot was and stuff like that in the past. But it's the story mode that they're going to give. I need to play around with it a little bit more, but that's my expectations. I don't think it's going to be one of their heaviest efforts from a single player career mode standpoint. And mind you, it is a career mode. It is not a franchise mode. I don't care if it's called Face of the Franchise mode. It's not a franchise mode. It's a career mode. It's a very big difference. So yeah, that's my expectation. And finally, let's talk about franchise mode. My expectations for franchise mode is that I think this is going to be better than every franchise mode that we've played on Madden in recent years. But it's still going to be short of what most people really want from the mode. I think we're going to see some incremental improvements after launch. They're supposed to add scouting in September. So I'm hearing a lot of people saying they're not even going to start their franchise mode until September. I think that you'll have a more kind of like a realistic time frame for how good the game maybe could be, or how good the franchise mode could be down the line. I personally think the franchise mode in Madden 23 might be the closest we get to being that franchise mode that everybody wants. So I'm just really hoping there isn't some hard stop put on franchise mode after Madden 22. So, you know, they say, hey, well, we gave you guys literally almost an entire release where we made you guys the primary focus. Yeah, because don't get me wrong, like, so what they've done to franchise mode for Madden 22 is pretty much been the biggest thing that they've been pumping and publicizing throughout this whole pre-release standpoint. It's been the biggest push, and I appreciate that, right? But the chances of it being the #1 pushed new feature 2 years in a row, no. I'm thinking next year the biggest push is probably gonna be Ultimate Team, something new layered that they add to Ultimate Team, or gameplay, or maybe even doing something really big and crazy with a career mode. I think franchise mode will get some love in 23, and hopefully it won't need as much love after what they've done for the game heading into launch now, and the other fine-tuning that they do after launch for 22. So maybe for 23, they can just kind of plug the gaps that they have still with customization, presentation. I got a whole video about presentation that I'm going to get into because my guy MGM Gaming, or I think I'm probably saying it wrong, but I'm going to talk about that in another video. But because he's really been I think garnering a really strong audience talking about presentation. So, but I think maybe they can plug in some gaps, but and then ultimately give us the type of franchise mode for Madden 23 that'll make people go like, now this was the franchise mode that I used to play. This is the one I've been wanting, kind of a thing. I'm hoping, oh my God, I'm hoping if they came up with, you guys remember for NCAA football, what was it, Team Builder? It was an online thing. You go to a website and you could literally create your team, right? If they do something like that on Madden, I'm gonna go through one of them things. Y'all see me go through it in I'm gonna do it. I don't want to, but I might. Some of those are bad, and other times they're good. That was a good one. So I'm just saying, if they give me that, I'm gonna be real happy. So those are my expectations for the game, for each mode. Now, talk about gameplay. My expectations for gameplay. I've played the playtest, and so I kind of see what we're gonna get. I do expect there to be some improvements, but the tackling is better already. Just the collisions overall are better. They're not perfect at all. Don't get it twisted, but it's definitely better. The blocking still, to me, is not really better. I've heard them say and talk about the focus on blocking, but pass blocking is better. Run blocking, we still have a lot of offensive linemen that run around like they got grass in their helmet, right in the visor part. Like, so I don't know what's happening, and I don't even know if they can't fix it, because if they do, the running game will be overpowered or what. All I know is they run right past people still. Like, you didn't know that you were supposed to block him. Like, he don't have on the same shirt you have on, so that generally means push him down, and they don't do that. So that still is a thing sometimes. So it is what it is. But I do like the AI for quarterbacks, whether or not when they're determining how the style of play that they play, in terms of the frequency of scrambling, moving around in the pocket, that kind of stuff. I definitely like the M factors, the momentum thing. I've said this on countless videos. I really like the whole overall direction with that. I do think it's a couple of things they can tweak here and there, but overall I think it's solid. The feel of the game while you're playing it, the excitement is higher because of the sound quality with the crowd and rising at different moments. So gameplay wise, I think it's a little bit better than it has been. Noticeably better in some areas. So yeah, solid game of Madden you'll be able to play here and there. You'll have your moments where you're like, this is whatever, this is the same type of thing I've been hating forever. But it's Madden, and you'll know what to expect. So it's either something you have a stomach for or something you don't. I don't think they're gonna convert the Madden haters with this version of the game. I'm not a Madden hater. I am a Madden realist, and I am a Madden consumer who has both positive and negative feedback for the product, but I'm not a Madden hater. So it's a difference. The Madden haters, sometimes you got to weed out what they're saying, because some of the stuff that they be saying is just like, you gotten to the point where you make your living from saying all the bad stuff about Madden. And now, even if something good happens, it would kind of go against your brand to say something positive. And so at that point, I can no longer take what you're saying, because I won't never know when it's good. I got to just do it for myself. So that's my point. That's what I got for you guys today. I appreciate you watching as always. If you have not yet subscribed, please do. If you did not subscribe yet to my 2K channel, the link to that one is in the description, as well as the link to the Mothership channel, which essentially is where everything else that I do goes. My, Mazik Speaks mailbag, I do that there, which is a live stream. Any MLB The Show content I post goes there. EA UFC, ESBC news, some big stuff coming there. The NHL, FIFA stuff that I might post, which is not usually a lot, will go there. And any racing stuff I do goes there as well. It's not gonna be a lot. And I am thinking about reviving Throwback Thursday for the Mothership channel. So we'll see how that goes. But until the next time, I appreciate you guys watching as always. God bless you, and peace.